What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there. That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. We can cry about it, or we can dance about it. We were made to be awesome.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 6. I'm joined with my mate Connor. Me and Connor went to the same high school, and we didn't really talk that much during high school.
No, we didn't really knock around together at school, to be honest.
But your mates were like cane leavers and stuff.
Yeah, so our mates were mates, and it's probably since coming out of school we found got more in common, I guess.
Yeah. And then it was like through Instagram pretty much. Like the past year and a bit.
Yeah.
That we started talking a bit.
Yeah.
So Connor did the Ironman late last year. So Ironman being what, 3k swimming?
So 3.8k swim, 180k ride, 42.2k run.
That's fucking insane.
Full marathon.
So we'll talk about the Ironman itself, like the actual race itself, but I want to kind of know more about the lead up to the race, the year leading up to the race, and all the practice that went into it. And also, I think this episode would be cool because we haven't actually, like, aside from like the 5 minutes we just spent talking, I haven't really spoken to you about it. But like the people I've had in the past, I've been asking questions that like I've kind of already know the answer to.
Yeah.
So this one will be a bit different.
Should be good.
Yeah. So we'll start off like on how it all came about.
That's a good question. Pretty much my whole life I've been like into fitness, and I've always done like footy or worked out at the gym and stuff like that. But I've never really challenged myself. And you kind of see like people on Instagram and stuff like that, they're doing these crazy ideas. I just sort of thought, well, what's something I can do to challenge myself? And a few of my mates did the half Ironman, so it's exactly what I just said, but in half. And I thought, well, let's give that a crack. And then I thought, oh, stuff it, let's go for the full and try and hit the full. And I couldn't do the normal stuff that I do, like footy and stuff like that, like last year. So I thought I'll try something solo, and I really wanted to find like how I'd be when I get into the dark place. And go from there.
How did you go in the half Ironman?
The half Ironman was good. So I did it with 5 mates from the gym. So we were training together. The sessions were a lot shorter, and it was like a good introduction into the Ironman as a whole. So yeah, the half was fun, a lot more capable and enjoyable, and I had other people to sort of rely on compared to when I did the full. I was just training on my own, nobody was training with me. And it got real tough, like Saturday 7 hours on your own, but you have no one to do it with. You get pretty bored.
That 7 hours swimming, running, or a bit of everything?
A bit of everything, man. So the training was pretty much like 2 runs a week, 2 swims a week, 2 rides a week, and then a big Saturday. So I remember one for example, we did a 100k ride into a 30k run. So that's pretty much wake up at 3 o'clock Saturday morning, just go for 7 or 8 hours.
Man.
Yeah, it was tough.
I can't comprehend that shit. Because I can't fucking walk for 12 hours without stopping, let alone fucking run.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of prep. It becomes a full-time job, like with nutrition, diet, training, recovery. Recovery is huge.
What's the recovery process like?
Towards the end, I found I sort of started doing my own. So pretty much every day I did yoga, like religiously. I'd do yoga every day. On your own? Yeah. Just on YouTube, just do yoga every single day. I would foam roll every single day. After those big sessions, I would have ice baths. And I'd meditate a little bit here and there as well. And then my diet was pretty much every single thing that I ate was documented. I had 3 coaches. It was like a full-time job. Every time I went to the toilet, it was documented, and it became I really learned about myself and how my body can perform, and then tweaked it to get to a point where we were happy with it.
There's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes.
You don't think about it. And then you see it on Instagram, and you see like these athletes like for example, you see like LeBron crushing it in basketball, but you don't see the 12 hours of recovery he's done that week and stuff like that. So definitely it gives you more of an insight and makes you appreciate it a lot more.
What's the mental game like?
It's tough because it's an endurance event, so if you're just playing footy or going to the gym and it's over pretty quickly, or you've got your mates to fall on. Really with an event like that, you have to find why you're doing it, and why is it got to be bigger, like you've got to make it bigger than yourself.
You're just stuck in your own thoughts, eh?
Yeah, it's you versus you, pretty much. It's like, am I going to be better than the next day? And last year I went through some tough stuff with my family that you know about. Like my dad passed away, and I was like, well, I need to learn how to handle tough situations. And I kind of look at life like you've got a rectangle, and the rectangle's outside my comfortability. But doing the Ironman widens that, and now if something hard comes up in life, I'm like, well, I've done the Ironman, so it's not that hard. And that's it doesn't really come down to like the race and physical. It's actually more of a mental and like training your mind, I guess. Like callousing the mind, as David Goggins would say. When
you first spoke about, thought about doing Ironman, did you ever have like any doubt, or were you always like, yeah, fuck, I can do that?
Nah, I doubt. Like that's why I wanted to do something so stupid or like so hard that I didn't think I'd be able to do it. Like now that I've done it and I've expanded that rectangle, when someone says an Ironman, like I can do that.
But then now that you've seen your potential, you can apply that to other areas of life and
absolutely.
stuff.
Like when you 10x what you think you're capable of. So when I first started the Ironman, it was a 3.8k swim. I'd never done a swim before. Like I went to the pool and did 200 meters and struggled. I was like, how am I going to do this? I'd never competitively ridden a cycle, like a bike. Never wore Lycra or any of that. So like I pretty much ran, the longest run I'd ever done was like 10Ks. So it was like 0 to 100.
That's crazy. And that was pretty much all in a year?
It was pretty much. So I did the half Ironman in May, and the first triathlon I ever did was on Australia Day, so pretty much a year this week. It's my first one. The first one was, they called it the fun triathlon. It was like 200 meter swim, like a 7k ride and a 2k run, and I was petrified to do the 200 meter swim in the river. Like, I was so scared. I did good. I came third, but that was because it was so small. Because everybody else was doing the proper ones. But it was fun, and then from there, I was like, let's give this a crack.
Man, that takes a lot of, like, I guess throughout the year there would have been a hell of a lot of sacrifices and commitment and discipline and stuff.
It did. So like back to the preparation, pretty much I did the half in May. So I had 5-6 months to train for that, and I got that, and I did really well. I was really happy with my performance in May, but obviously with May it wasn't like, I didn't have a coach, I did everything myself. I wasn't doing my nutrition, I sort of knew how to get by and did okay. And then the goal, I always knew the goal was to do Ironman, but I had a nice 6-week Europe trip in the middle. And you say that you're gonna train when you go to Europe and stuff like that, but after 3 nights of partying, it sort of turns into 6 weeks of partying, and you know what it's like when you go on holiday. It's pretty much exactly what you expect.
I remember seeing a video of you doing push-ups like on a roof or something. I think Jordan or something.
That was the first day we got to EOS. We're like, oh, how nice is it? We're like, let's get a training session in. And we did, and then I think I trained once a week for the rest, like probably did 6 sessions whilst I was there.
Really?
And like no endurance running. I remember we were leaving London and we were going home the next week. I was like, alright, well I know I've got the half Ironman, pretty much the full Ironman, sorry. I had 13 weeks when I got back from Europe to train for the full Ironman, coming off of 6 weeks of just partying. And I was like, oh, let's go for a 10k run. I got like 6k's in, I could barely finish. I was like, damn, this is going to be tough.
And how did you feel like coming back from Europe, and then did you, like, because you would have gone to Europe thinking that you're going to train while you're there, right?
In my mind, I thought I would train, but I didn't put limitations on myself to say that you have to train, because I knew I was going to have fun. I didn't want to get in the way of like, I have to wake up and do this 10k run if we wanted to go. I didn't have a good night the night before, but I just knew that when I came back, I was kind of doubting doing the Ironman altogether, to be honest. And a few boys are like, you still want to do it, is it worth doing, and stuff like that. And then I was pretty close not to doing it, and I had a chat with my coach on the phone, and he was just like, let's do it. And then as soon as I actually employed him, as soon as you start paying somebody, you've got your accountability. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna not pay someone. And also, like, I posted on Instagram, I taught like this big game that I was going to do the Ironman.
Yeah.
And I made myself accountable, and then if I didn't do it and just went on a blowout in Europe and came back and like, well, you're all talk.
Yeah.
So
I find that really helps, like posting or like sharing what you want to do, or like posting it on Instagram and stuff, because you're just like, man, like I did all that and now I'm just going to bitch out at the end. Like, I've got to follow through.
Man, I was so nervous when I posted on Instagram. I remember the first photo I posted, and I was just like, this is the goal. Yeah. Do a full Ironman.
Was that after the half Ironman or before?
That was before. So it was after the first triathlon. It was pretty much after the first one I did in Australia Day, the little one. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna commit to this. Yeah. And then I posted it. I was talking to one of the dudes that looks after me, like my physio kind of. Yeah. He's my OT. And he was like, put it on Instagram and make yourself accountable. And I was so nervous, thought everybody would be like ripping into me. And I posted it, and it's probably similar to what you found. The amount of support that I got, and the amount of people that have messaged me during my training that, you've inspired me to go for a run or something like that. Sick. And so it's made me really happy, and now we'll post more on Instagram.
Yeah. It's like, even like when you just like talk about having goals and stuff, like, a lot of people have goals, but they just keep it in their mind. It's like, it's not real until you write it down like pen to paper.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I was literally watching a video the other day, and they were saying 40% of doing your goals is writing it down. Like, so you may as well take that free 40%, write it down, and then work backwards and take action on it.
Yeah. That's insane. Sources of inspiration. Like, how did you keep in the zone? Like, were you reading books, podcasts? Like, what else were you doing to make sure your mental state was in the game?
A bit of everything. So, like, I'm a huge podcast guy. Yeah. I'm like big into books. But it would have been my dad, man. My dad would have been my inspiration, because like, I've talked to you a bit about it, but my dad had cancer. 2018, he passed away, and I knew that he was going through some tough stuff. And seeing my dad, he was like the strongest dude you've ever met, and then he became like a baby again. Yeah, that's it. So when I'm doing a hard run, it's like my dad's sitting in a hospital room getting chemotherapy, fighting for his life. Running, I'm grateful that I can do this run.
Yeah, this isn't hard, that's hard.
And you shift your perspective to be like, I've got to do this. I'm grateful that I get to do this. And like, when I was running around the river, I was like, I'm so nice that the river's here. It's like beautiful with the Perth, like grateful to be doing what I'm doing. Yeah. You sort of shift that perspective, and then you become grateful that you have the ability to do something, not that what you can't do. Yeah. And then the sky sort of becomes a limit. Yeah. That's where I sort of drew a lot of my inspiration from. So when I was like down in a dark, dirty place and it happened, I started to hate it and I wanted to quit. You just sort of draw back, and there's always something bigger than you, and someone's gone through something harder. Yeah. You go on that.
So did you kind of take the situation with your dad as like even more reason to do it?
Yeah, pretty much. It comes back to like, because I knew that I was going to have a hard year. I couldn't play like footy so me and my brother looked after my dad pretty much like the final stage of life. We became full-time carers of him, and I knew I was going to have to do things that most people our age wouldn't have to do, or have conversations with doctors about things that you never want to have a conversation with. I was like, well, I need to be in such a good headspace that when somebody does say your dad's going to die tomorrow, I can be strong, or I can just break down, which is alright, you can break down, but it's about how you get back up. Yeah, definitely. So that's what I was like, well, the Ironman's going to give me a lot of alone time and make me really see how strong I can be, I suppose.
Must have been a real test for you, man.
Yeah, it was tough, but it was a good year. Like, it was fun, and like, grateful that Dad was there for so long. So, but if I didn't do the Ironman, I think I would have been in a very different place.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
For sure.
How do you feel like the Ironman's changed you, like before and after? So say, end of 2017, beginning of 2018 to where you are now, do you feel like you've learned a lot more about yourself?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to what you were saying, like the perceived limits that we put on yourself. Yeah. And then when you actually start going at them and you achieve it, you feel like you can do so much more. Yeah. And it's just sort of taught me, if you've got a goal and you work hard towards it, you can do it. And a lot of people, you know how everyone's like, trust the process and all this stuff, and it sounds like cliche. Yeah. As cliched as it is, I fell in love with the process.
100%.
and it wasn't the race. The race was the reward for the training.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with, like, there was days where I hated it, but then towards the end I was running at such optimal performance that I would wake up, I'd love training, like love running and stuff like that. And yeah, so it just showed me that I can be more than I want, and that's other aspects of life. If I've got a goal in business or something like that, like if I do the steps and follow it right, there'll have days where I'm not good, but if I just keep getting that 1% better every day.
That's it, man. That 1% better, man.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be something big. It can be taking an extra minute on the yoga, or it can be not eating that ice cream that you shouldn't be eating or something like that, and then they compound over time.
That's it. What were the days like when, you know, you got up and you just couldn't be fucked training? Like, how do you convince yourself?
That's a good one. What I used to do is, like, it was pretty much 2 sessions a day because we were cramming so much in. It was a nighttime session and an early morning session.
Post-Europe?
Yeah, it's a post-Europe. So to get up, I'd pretty much set my, like, if I was doing a 4 o'clock session, I'd set my alarm at 3:30 and put the most annoying alarm tone you can think of. And just put it on the opposite side of the room, so I had to get out of bed. So you have to get out of bed. Yeah, I've been doing that. And then once I'm up, I'm ready, and then I had to wash my face, do whatever. But I think, don't get me wrong, I didn't hit every session. There was days where I slept in and didn't do it, and I guess the guilt of knowing that I didn't do that session was like what drove me, because I hated that feeling, and I knew how good I felt when I trained. Yeah. So you just had to push past that initial 10 minutes of grogginess in the morning. So if I didn't do it, it would be 10 hours of feeling like shit, and then busting myself that night time to make up for what I didn't do.
What was the morning routine like?
Morning routine, it kind of fluctuated. I used to be a guy that had a morning routine and stuff like that, but then throughout I didn't really end up having it. So I actually ended up, like, I was coaching. You did a class today, did really well.
Yeah, fuck.
So I was coaching at a CrossFit gym, and I was working full time. So some days I'd wake up in the morning and coach a CrossFit class, and then work full time, and then train at night time. So it didn't really become a routine as a morning. It pretty much became a routine throughout the day. If I ate all my meals, I got all my calories in, if I did my stretching, if I did my yoga, if I did my recovery, then I was happy. It wasn't so much a routine, but
you just fit it in wherever you need.
Yeah, it was just fitting it in. And then obviously in the mornings, when I had a session in the morning, I'd make sure I was up, I was prepared for it. You know, I'd have my bike shoes clipped onto my bike, so I could just literally go and sit in my bike and do it in the garage. And just chip away at it. But
I remember seeing your stories. You got a laptop right in front of the bike, and you're just watching podcasts and shit.
Yeah, there's the
impact theory.
Yeah, impact theory is good, but there's it's called a wind trainer, man. It's a horrible piece of equipment, and you just put your bike in there. And I used to train to a heart rate and wear a chest strap, and it was like, all right, 20 minutes in this heart rate, and you gradually increase, and you have to put the resistance up on the bike. And because the bike's stationary, you know, if we were riding down the street now, we'd be rolling down the hill, taking in the views and stuff like that. You just got to keep on pedaling in the garage, and you've got to keep getting that heart rate up. And the impact theory was there to watch, but after like 10 minutes you couldn't really hear it, and it was just, they were disgusting sessions, man. Like, dripping in sweat. My housemate would I would walk into the bathroom screaming, doing ice baths, and he was like, what are you doing? It's pretty crazy, but it was fun.
Yeah, man, definitely
fun.
So is there a sense of achievement at the end? Like when you finished Ironman, what was that feeling like? Wait, first of all, let's talk about the race. Because you started at because I was doing that tracker thing you had.
Yeah.
So you started at 5 a.m. or something?
We got down at 5. I think I ended up getting in the water at about 7.
Yeah.
So they do a rolling start, and the best swimmers go at the front, and then gradually they just start rolling everybody in. So I was probably in the water about 7:15.
And then it was just going up until, was it 9 p.m. you finished?
So I did it in 12 hours and 40 minutes. So yeah, probably around 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I think. I remember when I did it, I was like, oh no, it might have been earlier, because I wanted to do it in about 11 hours. I was like, well, if I start at 7, the sun will still be up at 7.
Yeah.
And then I kept going through, and it probably turned into about 9, because the sun was down by the time I finished.
Yeah.
But yeah, the race started with this swim. 3.8 k's, which was beautiful. The water was so nice. It was probably the easiest part. It was so flat, just like really enjoyed it.
It was in Busselton, yeah?
Yeah, so in Busselton, just near the jetty, it's just like a big oval, so the whole race was in Busselton.
Yeah.
So the swim was really nice and calming, and like the swim was cool because, as I said, like the first one I ever did was like 200 meters, and now I'm doing 3.8 k's, and I was just like literally in the water, drawing on that like come so far, like just my thing for the race.
3.8 k's non-stop.
Yeah, just 3.8 k's. Just
bro, I can't even swim, let alone do 3.8 k's.
And just practice, you get it. Just keep chipping away like the goals. And then we jumped into the bike. The bike was tough. The bike was really tough.
Yeah.
So you're in the like aerodynamic position. So you have forearms on the front of your handlebars, and you're sort of crouched over. Yeah. And you've got all your water and your food, and it's 180 k's. And I think it was 34 degrees when we did it. Yeah. And I was riding between 10 and 2, so it was like in the depth of the heat of the day. Yeah. And it was tough. I remember there was one point, and I went to like drink some water, my water ran out, and the next water station wasn't for another 15 k's, and I was like real lethargic. And then like, you know how you just see stories of people and they're like, oh, I ran out of water, I was working out, I started like tripping out and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I never thought you'd find that, and all that really happened. But then there was a point in the race where like my mental state really had to kick in. I was like literally tripping out. I remember I saw some dude who was wearing a hat. Because it was around Christmas time, I thought he was wearing a Santa Claus hat. I got hell excited. I was like, oh, hell yeah, this dude's dressed up. And I got close, and he just wasn't. He was just wearing a normal hat. I was like, man, I need to get some water. And then the next aid station came through, and I got some water. Yeah. And then it was all right. And then the run was just, tough because I was running with an injury. And I just
popped. Man. So this guy did the full Ironman with fucking stress fracture. He's wearing a moon boot right now. Is that what they call it? Moon boot?
Yeah, it's a moon boot. You can't see it, but it's a moon boot. The training, because I went from Europe to running 0 to running like 40 to 50, 60 k's a week. Yeah. The impact just gave me a stress fracture.
And then, what did you call it? Shin splits?
Yeah, so I knew something was up, but I didn't want to admit it because it would just stuff me mentally. So me and my OT, we just said it was aggressive shin splints, which it probably was as well, and we just treated it as shin splints. And then it was like I couldn't walk. It would be like I'd do like a 20 or 30k run, and then I'd limp around the whole next day and day after. And then 3 weeks post race, I went and got a CT scan, and they said I had a fracture in my leg. So I've been wearing a moon boot for the last 6 weeks, which is annoying. But it was tough.
At least you got it done, man.
Yeah. So in the run, the run hurt. So pretty much 2 weeks before the race, we stopped running altogether because we couldn't run, but we knew we needed to get it done. I just pumped in like 6 Nurofen during the run, and you run through a crowd, so it's pretty fun. Like I had heaps of mates there, so you'd run through them, and they were like all cheering you on and stuff like that. So the adrenaline sort of gets you over the line.
Yeah. What's the community and like the vibe with the whole Ironman thing? Because everyone's kind of like supporting each other, right?
Yeah, it's good. There is a good community. I probably didn't do it the best way possible. I did it really solo. I had a coach who was online over East, and we were checking base all together. But so I never did a training session for the full with somebody. All my runs, my swims, and my rides were all solo. Yeah. But there is like triathlon clubs and stuff like that you can join and be a real part of the community, which is good. But when you're on the course, it's really fun. Like you'll be running next to someone, and they understand what you're going through. You understand what they're going through. Yeah. I stopped on my 3rd lap and was talking to this lady, and it was her 1st lap. And I was just like, just keep going, you'll get there. And she did. There was this one lady, man, she was like 70 or 80, and she was running, and she was hunched over, and every step she was like, oh,
she was doing the Ironman.
Yeah, like crazy. And
70?
Yeah, she was old, like she'd like hunchback, and she was literally like, and I ran past her, I was like, keep on going. And she was like, thanks. And in my head I was like, you're not going to finish. But then I checked the app, and 12 o'clock, so 12 o'clock's the cutoff line, she walked over the line. 12 midnight? Yeah.
Fuck.
And that's like, when you're doing the Ironman as well, like I'm pretty young, you see people like, there's people with like one arm. There was a guy who was in a wheelchair, and he did the swim and got carried out of the water and then put into another wheelchair for this bike leg and did it in a bike. So you look at people like that and you're like, well, if they're doing it, I've got no excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy.
That's intense.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think, like, stop complaining and just go and do it.
Yeah, man. So, what, do you reckon you'll run it back this year?
I want to. It just depends with how the boot comes off and what my other goals are physically this year. There's a few things I would like to do. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do an ultra. I want to do something that really tests myself. Because my age category, so it's 25 to 30, it's quite small. If I do it this year, I want to be competitive, and I don't want to finish. Like, I want to get up there. So when you do the races each year, each race you accumulate points. And from the half Ironman and the full Ironman, I finished in the top 10% of the world for my age group, which I didn't think would happen. And then I got an email about it a couple of weeks ago.
I saw you post that.
So now this time round, I'm thinking if I get in 10% and I was just trying to finish, if I compete, like, what am I capable of? So that's my thoughts, but I'm just gonna take it easy, see what happens when the moon boot comes off, and go from there.
What other plans do you have moving on?
I don't know, we'll see. I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast like you, man. We're talking about it. I want to start that. I think through doing the Ironman, I've found that, like, the human potential is awesome, and I love seeing what humans can do, and I'd love to, like, talk to people about it and see, like, what drives them. Why did somebody? There's a guy in England, and he swam around Great Britain, like, just swam through a storm around Great Britain just for the hell of it. Like, it took him 3 months. And there's people out there that are doing crazy, like, incredible things, and it'd be interesting to see what drives them.
So do you think, like, the Ironman's kind of giving you that mindset now?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, just constantly testing yourself?
Yeah, the Ironman's definitely the tip of the curb. I did a course at the start of last year. Have you ever heard Jesse Itzler? He's like an entrepreneur in America. Do you know Sarah Blakely? She owns Spanx. You know Spanx?
No.
Some of the girls listening might know Spanx, but Sarah Blakely owns her husband, Jesse Itzler. They're pretty much like entrepreneurs. And he does this course, and he calls it, like, Life Resume. And he calls it a Misogi. And some basketball player did it. And it's pretty much do one thing every year so hard that it's going to challenge yourself and change you for the year. So then when I heard that, I was like, well, that's my Ironman. And now, so now this year, if I don't compete competitively in Ironman, it's finding what's going to be the next thing. It might not be probably be the podcast. But physical, I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing, like, an ultra. I'm doing the Rottnest swim with a team in a couple of weeks just for some fun with some boys.
Even the podcast would be a good challenge, because you were saying, like, earlier how it's a bit challenging for you to get in front of the camera and stuff. So that'd definitely be a good one, man.
That's what I'm thinking, because fitness-wise, like, it's easy for me now. Just shut up, don't think and do. But in the podcast, I guess I have to put myself out there a little bit more. Which would be good. Just like you've done it, like, you're killing it now.
It's not bad.
Enjoy it.
You kind of get used to it after a while. But probably the same thing with your fitness, how, like, at first it's probably a bit tough, and then after a while you're just like, I've done this before.
Well, it's like the class you did today, you're probably like, that sucked, but give it like, if you kept coming for a month, hopefully you'd start to enjoy it.
You'd hope so. Fuck, that's good, man. Anything else you want to add?
Not really, we pretty much covered it off. I feel like we went on a lot of tangent on the questions, but we still ticked off some boxes.
Other than your dad, did you have many other challenges throughout the year? Anything that happened that, you know, someone else might not perceive as a challenge, but for you, it's probably a major challenge?
That's a good question, man.
What about, like, eating and stuff? Like, were you always, like, someone that was eating the right foods and stuff, or is that something you had to completely change?
Nah, like, I'm quite a skinny guy, so I can sort of get away with eating whatever. Well, I can't get away with eating what I want, but I'm not going to get fat. But then obviously through all the fitness and stuff like that I do, I figured out, well, I need to be eating clean and be eating healthy. And then it came, like, eating was tough, man, because I was eating like 3,000 plus calories, about 3,500 calories a day. Which, if you don't know about calories, it's quite a lot. So it was like weighing at all the foods, and it would get to a point where, like, I was having 500 grams of veg, 400 grams of fruit a day. Like, they were non-negotiable. And I had to hit my protein and carb targets and my fat targets. And then it was like, come like 9 o'clock at night, if we still had 800 calories to go, it was like, where can I find 800 calories? It was like, I remember at one point I was having like 250 grams of ice cream, 100 grams of oats with peanut butter and honey just to get the extra calories in, to the point where it was like sickening. But I knew if I didn't get that in, the session the next day was going to be really hard.
Yeah. And did you find that you were performing better when you were doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. When you eat clean, so I pretty much stopped, like, I enjoyed drinking and having fun and stuff like that, and then I went pre-race, probably 2 months sober. Probably like 6 weeks in, I felt like optimal. I felt so good, so clean.
Yeah.
Like, ask my housemate, I'd wake up in the morning at like 4 o'clock and I'd have so much energy.
Yeah.
And just like loved attacking life and everything like that. And then post Ironman, it was December, the silly season, and I like lost it all so quickly, and now I know how good it does to feel good when you're running optimal.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like flat again, so I'm like, well, I need to start eating again to pick myself up.
So is that something you reckon you'll be doing permanently, regardless of Ironman?
Yeah, well now, like, I don't weigh my food anymore.
Yeah.
But I eat pretty healthy now. It's just, last week I was doing like veg, but these days it's pretty much like mostly veggies, and then I'll have like a little bit of meat and just try and stay like consistently healthy, and then have like a few, I don't really call it cheat meals, but you know, if I want to have KFC one day, I'll have KFC. I'm not too strict, but I know that if I just eat KFC and eat crap all the time, it's going to result, like, change my mood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm conscious of it now.
Fuck yeah. I need to become like that.
Yeah, it's tough. But once you do it, like the first couple of weeks, weighing my food sucked, but then towards the end, it just becomes natural. Like, it's just a habit.
Especially when you see the value it brings.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like anything with life. Like starting is the hardest part, but then once you do it consistently enough, and you realise what kind of value it brings, you're like, fuck it, it's actually doing well for me.
Yeah, once you start, and then the thing is as well, like, I find it so hard to get into routine, but it's so easy to get out.
Yeah, man, definitely.
But you can see like as you were saying, you see the value so much, so then you just got to bring yourself back to getting into it. And I guess like for me, I found it hard. Like a lot of my friends, like, we'll go out on a weekend and just have social drinks and stuff like that. And when you take away like the social drinks and you don't want to eat bad, and then you start going out in social environments, that's a challenge within itself as well.
Yeah.
It's like going to a party, being completely sober. For some people, like, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But for me, I was always like drinking and stuff like that. So just being there and then noticing like, oh, I can actually go have a really good time, wake up tomorrow feeling fresh.
Yeah.
Do it all again.
Yeah.
So that was good.
It's good, man. Fuck, I still can't comprehend it. Fucking insane.
Once you do it, but you comprehend it. Like, as I was saying, like, I remember looking, I was like, this is gonna be so tough. Yeah. But now doing it, it's like, I wouldn't do one right now, but it's definitely doable. Probably like the same as your podcast. You probably thought it was gonna be real tough, and now what, six episodes in, you've got a roll going.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Do you have any tips for anyone that is maybe considering challenging themselves and doing the Ironman after listening to this?
Slide into my DMs. No.
Yeah. I got one of my boys that's actually
really?
keen.
Yeah.
He's the one I did. I don't know if you saw my video about when I went to True Grit in Donnybrook.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I did that with him, and I was telling him, I've got a mate that's doing Ironman. He's like, fuck, like, I want to talk to him. And I was like, nah, wait until we do the podcast together, and then hit him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was like, alright, so he's been hanging out for this one.
Yeah, I've talked to him for sure. I did that as well. It's good fun.
Yeah.
I guess with the Ironman or anything, set a goal and commit to it. If you say you're gonna do the Ironman, start off small. Like, don't beat yourself up, and start little picture. So you know it's going to be a 180 kilometre bike ride, but if you've never rode a bike and you do your first ride 10 kilometres and you're beating yourself up because you're not the 180 kilometre point yet, just keep on focusing on that 1% a day. Become accountable, make a program, and coaches. Like, if you can't afford a coach, like, source some content online or even message somebody for a bit of advice. I think the best thing you could do is get a coach, because there's somebody there that's done it before you. They've had the same struggles. Why go through those struggles if you don't have to, if you can just ask somebody how to do it?
Yeah. Do you think you would have done as well without a coach?
Nah, absolutely not. There was days where I didn't know what was going on with my body. Something might have happened with my bike. I'd just call my coach, but I'm feeling this from running. It was all right, you run too far. Let's bring it back. If I was doing that myself, I probably would have kept on pushing and hurt myself. So accountability is huge, and just I know it's easier than done, but just don't be afraid. Just attack it. If you want to do it, do it. Not every session's going to be a good session.
Yeah.
But just keep ticking away, and each day's a new day. So if you have a bad day, just wake up the next morning, go a little bit harder the next day. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
That's it, man. Especially with like big goals, it's good to break them down into like weekly, monthly, daily goals.
I think you can get caught up quite easily shooting for the stars, but you know, first you've got to launch there, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. Fuck. Well, that was good, man.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
That was good.
Yeah.
Covered a lot.
As nervous or?
Yeah, a little bit nervous. I feel like I went on a tangent a little bit here and there, but no.
Tangent's good, man.
I enjoyed
it's just natural conversation.
Yeah, for sure. No.
But
thanks for having me on. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and you're crushing it.
We finally got it.
Yeah.
Finally got time.
And man, I love what you're doing, and you inspire me. So keep doing it, and
appreciate it.
yeah, we'll go from there.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.